Good morning. We are extremely pleased that you are here. It is good to come together for the purpose of co-creating. Do you agree? Yes. You are knowing what you are wanting? You like how it changes, how it evolves, how it becomes? Do you believe that you're keeping up with your desires? You can tell if you are, because when you think about things that you desire, they feel good to you if you're keeping up with them. In other words, it seems like a good idea, something that you're looking forward to, something that you are anticipating, something that you are eager about. But if your desires feel uncomfortable to you, like if you feel doubt about them, if you're worried about them, or if you feel sorry that they haven't come yet, or blameful that they haven't come yet, or jealous that they've come for someone else but not for you, then you are not up to speed with your desire. Then you are in your doubt about them, or in your sadness about them, or in your anger about them. You are introducing resistance into the idea of them, which slows that down. Do you realize that you are first and foremost vibrational beings? If you understand that, then you have a head start on most of those other humans that you are roaming around with, because most of you are so good at translating the vibrational nature that is you into the physical equivalent through your five senses of seeing and hearing and smelling and tasting and touching, that you don't realize that there is a vibrational basis that is you. But if you accept that you are vibrational, and that in this physical body that you are an extension of that non-physical part of you, some of you refer to that as your soul, we like to call it your inner being, that non-physical part of you. Once you realize that you are an extension of that, then you can understand what your emotional guidance system is all about, because everything that you are feeling is about the way what you are focused upon and what you think about it, and the way that larger non-physical part of you is focused upon and thinking about. The vibrational variance or sameness is shown to you in emotions. In other words, when you are loving someone, the reason that you feel that emotion of love is because whatever you're focused upon and whatever you're thinking about, your inner being is thinking about it in the same way. When you hate someone, that feeling of hatred, that's your indicator that you and your inner being are looking at this very differently. From time to time, Esther will say, Abraham, I think you need more information about that person. But we will never join anyone in the idea of pushing against anything, because we're understanding that this is an attraction-based universe, which means you get what you think about, whether you want it or not. And when you are pushing against something, shouting no at it, what you're actually doing is calling this unwanted thing into your experience. When you say yes, you get the thing you want. When you say no, you get the thing you don't want. So the idea is to stay focused as much as you can on what you do want. And it's a process, isn't it? You get better and better at it. If you care about the way you feel, this gets easier and easier for you. If caring about how you feel is your top priority, which means you become unwilling to focus in a way that doesn't feel good, then you are, much of the time, maybe most of the time, could even be all of the time, not likely, could be even all of the time, not likely, but it could be a lot of the time, you could be in vibrational harmony with who you really are. And that really is what you intended as you decided to come forth into this physical body. You said, I'll go forth into this contrasting experience where there are a lot of others wanting different things, believing different things, experiencing different things. And from my personal experience, I will come to my own conclusions about what I prefer. So that's what you do. You live life, and you know what you don't want, and you know what you do want, and you launch these rockets of desire, these vibrational rockets. You don't even know you're doing it, but your thoughts are so powerful. You think about things, you come to conclusions about things, you perceive things, you observe things, you decide things, And in all of that life experience, you set forth your idea of how life would be better, your intentions. If someone's rude, you want nicer people around. If you're rude, you want nicer people around. If you don't have enough money, you want more money. Life just causes you to decide what you really want. So you've been building, even though you have probably not been aware of it, you've been building a vibrational reality. It's what comes before all manifested reality. You've been building a vibrational reality, and there's momentum, and it's such a reality, it is so real that we wanted you to feel or understand the realness of it. So we named this vibrational reality your vortex. And the reason that we call it a vortex is because there is this spinning gathering of cooperative components to your ideas of who you are and what you want. We could even go further by explaining to you that that larger part of you is there with all that you've been asking for, holding the vision of it, knowing it, being it, vibrationally being it. And so the momentum of your ideas, of your expansion, has been gaining momentum, and law of attraction has been gathering the components, and it's ready, it's ripe and ready for you to tap into it, to begin receiving the ideas so that you can begin to turn your vibration to thoughts and your thoughts to things. Isn't that a wonderful awareness? Haven't you wondered, how do thoughts turn to things? How is it that things become? Because they clearly do. But most humans do not realize the creative control you have in the thoughts that turn to things. And most humans do not spend much time paying much attention to their thoughts, because you think your thoughts are less active than your actions. So you so often count on your actions while you are doing yourself disservice with so many of your thoughts. And there's not enough action in the world to make up for the thoughts that you are thinking. You got to get the thoughts out there ahead, and then you have to find a way to become a vibrational match to them. So we've been describing it as a 3-step process. Ask is step 1. Life causes you to do that. Can't stop asking. Don't even need to worry about practicing that. You're going to ask all day, every day. Step 2 is source answers, and that's that part that we were talking about the vortex, the coalescing of what's in the vortex. Law of attraction gathering the cooperative components, your inner being standing there, being what you've asked for, being the prosperous being that you want to be, or being the happy inside of a relationship being that you want to be, or being the productive entrepreneur in a business that thrills you that you want to be. In other words, your inner being stands there being that vibrationally, and being it so powerfully, and gathering the cooperative components to the idea of that then sometimes when you aren't paying attention to what's bothering you, when you're not doing that thing you do about beating the drum of what's wrong, we're playing with you a little bit, but you do tend to do that, you know. So in those moments when you find yourself not complaining or not being mad about something, your vibration raises to the frequency of what your vortex is about, and you are accomplishing, often by default or accident, sometimes on purpose these days with a lot of you, you accomplish step 3, which is you are in the allowing mode. We're calling that the receptive mode. Ask and receive, but you've got to become a vibrational match to what you are wanting to receive. When you are in that good mood, when your heart is singing, when you are feeling appreciation, when you are in love with life, when you are tuned in, tapped in, turned on, when you are feeling really good about something, that's that receptive mode. You're in the receptive mode. And when you are in the receptive mode, you become the receiver of what your vortex is transmitting to you. So you get a good idea. Boom. You know that feeling? Ooh, doesn't that sound like a good idea? You say to someone else who says no, because they're not necessarily where you are. Ooh, you can feel the power, the leverage of that idea. You can feel that you're right there in the receptive mode. Now, most don't sustain that for very long, because most of you are adjusting or establishing your vibrational point of attraction based upon what you're observing. So if you're observing things that please you, boom, you feel great. If you're observing things that don't please you, boom, you don't feel so great. And so sustaining that good feeling is really what we're talking about here. It's how to feel good on purpose, not by needing conditions to change in order to support your good feeling. That conditional love means you got to live in a very solitude place usually, and then you're still not happy because now you're bored. And so what you want to do is figure out how to be happy anyway, how to be unconditionally happy. And what that really requires is practicing it when it's easy until the momentum of it is known by you. So you can sort of sniff it out with your emotional guidance system. You can tell when you're headed towards something that doesn't feel so good. Every now and again, Esther will turn on the television for something interesting, politics, because she wants to feel good, informed. And she's not too far in it before she realizes that she is sacrificing her alignment for her interest. It's quite a big price to pay, you see, because you tend to adjust your point of attraction based upon what you are observing. And if what you're observing does not feel good, then it is not serving you. But we know you live in a world, you want to be informed, it feels like you should know stuff, and we say, let's just call that step one. Let's just call that the sifting and the sorting process and the launching of these rockets of desire into your vortex of what you are wanting. And of course, it's just fine. We're not asking you to withdraw from life or to not be involved in the political spectrum or of any other spectrum of your human experience. We want you to be involved, but we want more than anything to help you to realize that your predominant desire must be to feel good, and it's not always that easy to feel that good when stuff is happening around you, but still it is your work, and you'll get better and better at it. Sometimes something not very significant will bother you and you'll brood about it for days. Sometimes you'll become a sort of master of alignment, and something will bother you initially because you're taking the punch from it, but you don't brood about it for days. You take the hit, but you move back into the vibrational frequency that is really you. And that's really what we want to talk about. So step one is ask. Step two is source answers. Step three is you get into the receptive mode. And step four is you're able to maintain mostly the receptive mode no matter what. The mastery of alignment is where the deliciousness of life really is. The mastery of alignment, because in alignment you feel clarity. Isn't that more delicious than confusion? In the mastery of alignment you feel love. Isn't that better than hatred or anger? Doesn't it just feel better? Don't you want way more of that, you see? And so as you become aware of what you're doing and you care about how you feel and you accomplish this mastery of alignment, then you can move in to what we are so enjoying calling step five, because step five is where you're mostly in alignment, and every now and again you're not, because life is happening around you, but you no longer are beating up on yourself when you find yourself back in step one. Step five is finally accepting that that's what you signed up for when you decided to come into this physical experience. You came to live life. You came for the joyful expansion.